I didn't notice the way her eyes lingered on her phone until she looked up at me and said it. We need to talk. I think it's time we redefine our relationship. The words landed like stones in my chest. I felt my stomach drop, my pulse thundering in my ears, and a quiet, creeping fear clawing at my insides. Redefine? What did that even mean? The house felt suddenly too small, the silence between us suddenly too loud. Redefine? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, though I could feel it shaking. What are you saying? She sighed, shifting in the armchair as if to make herself comfortable for a conversation she knew would hurt. I think we've been stuck. Maybe we're not meant to be like this anymore. Not meant to be like this. The casualness, the calm, it was almost surreal. I wanted to laugh at the absurdity of it, the way she could speak about ending what we had built with such quiet deliberation. But the air in the room thickened, pressing against me, and laughter felt impossible. I sat down slowly, trying to process the words. My mind scrambled, searching for explanations, excuses, some way this could make sense. But a shadow of doubt had already crept in, whispering warnings I didn't want to hear. Emma, are you seeing someone else? The words barely escaped my lips before I wished I could take them back, but the thought had to be voiced, had to be confronted. She froze, a faint flush rising across her cheeks, and I knew, before any confirmation, that I was right. It's not what you think, she said, but her tone was too soft, too hesitant. Not what I think. My chest tightened further. The room felt like it was shrinking around me. Then tell me what it is, because from here it looks like you've already made up your mind about someone else. She looked away, biting her lip, and that's when I saw it, her hesitation, the way her hands fidgeted, the way the calm she tried to project was unraveling in tiny, telling movements. I didn't plan for it to happen, she admitted finally, her voice trembling. It did. I didn't want to hurt you. I never wanted to hurt you. But the words didn't reach me. They couldn't undo what I was beginning to suspect. The unease I had felt for weeks, the little inconsistencies, the sudden late nights at work, the vague excuses, they all began to click into place, forming a picture I wasn't ready to see. I think I need some space, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. My hands were shaking so badly, I couldn't even hold my cup of coffee. I needed air, I needed distance, I needed to breathe without the weight of the truth pressing down. She nodded, almost relieved, though her eyes betrayed fear. I understand. Take all the time you need. I left the apartment, the city night swallowing me as I walked without direction. My mind raced, reliving moments that now felt tainted, replaying conversations, searching for signs I had missed. Every text notification I had ignored, every sudden meeting she had claimed, every excuse now looked like a puzzle piece I hadn't wanted to fit together. Hours passed. I found myself at a quiet 24-hour diner, nursing a coffee I didn't taste, my thoughts spiraling. I needed proof, confirmation, anything to either ground me in reality or give me the courage to confront her fully. I couldn't rely on her words anymore. They had become untrustworthy, malleable. By the time I returned home, the apartment was dark, almost empty. I felt an impulse to check her phone, something I had never done before. I hesitated at first. Ethics, trust, the boundaries of love, but the quiet gnawing in my gut wouldn't relent. I picked it up, hands trembling, and unlocked it with the familiar code she had left me once when we first moved in together. The messages were there. Clear. Obvious. A conversation with him, the person I had vaguely suspected, filled with planning, laughter, intimate words that had no place in a marriage. My stomach turned, ball rising as I scrolled through months of hidden communication. The betrayal wasn't a single act. It was ongoing, deliberate, intimate. I dropped the phone, unable to hold it any longer. The weight of the reality hit me fully, all at once. She hadn't just asked to redefine our relationship, she had already redefined it herself, with someone else entirely. When she returned home later, I didn't say anything at first. I watched her, noting the small gestures, the slight hesitation in her movements, the way she avoided my eyes. It all felt like confirmation, a cruel mirror reflecting the truth I had just uncovered. "I saw your messages," I said finally, voice flat, numb. "All of them. Every single one." She flinched, caught, but she didn't deny it. I didn't mean for it to get this far," she whispered. I didn't know how to stop it." I laughed bitterly, a harsh sound that cut through the silence of the apartment. "You didn't know how to stop it? Emma, it wasn't about stopping. You made the choice. You made it long before tonight, long before you had the courage to tell me, or even pretend to be honest. You just wanted to redefine your life while keeping me in the dark." Tears welled in her eyes. "I never wanted to hurt you like this. I love you." But I didn't let her finish. The love she claimed now felt like poison, a cruel lie wrapped in familiar words. I couldn't reconcile it with the months of secret texts, stolen moments, and calculated plans she had orchestrated. "I can't do this," I said, voice breaking despite my effort to remain composed. "I can't stay here. I can't pretend like we can rebuild anything. It's not possible anymore. I trusted you. I believed in us. And now, I don't even recognize you." She reached for me, her hands trembling. "Please don't leave. We can fix this." We can. But there was nothing left to fix. The betrayal had carved a permanent scar through the foundation of our marriage. The love, the shared history, the plans, it all felt like fragile paper consumed by fire. I stepped back, shaking my head, my chest tight, my heart aching in a way I didn't know was possible. "I need to leave," I whispered, and in that moment, the decision solidified. She had made her choice. I couldn't stay in a life that no longer existed, couldn't be a part of a marriage that had been quietly destroyed while I slept, while I worked, while I trusted. I packed a small bag, each movement deliberate, each item I touched carrying the weight of memories now laced with betrayal. She watched silently, not crying, not pleading, just acknowledging the inevitability. And I realized that sometimes the hardest part of love isn't losing it, it's recognizing that it has been taken from you before you even knew it. I didn't wait for her to follow me. I walked out into the night, the apartment door closing behind me with a hollow finality. The streetlights cast long, empty shadows, echoing the emptiness that had settled in my chest. Every step felt heavy, like the weight of months of trust had been compressed into my shoulders and my legs were carrying it for me. I wandered without direction, passing familiar streets that now felt alien, each corner and storefront a cruel reminder of the life we had shared. The city moved around me, cars humming, distant laughter, the low thrum of late-night traffic, but I was trapped inside a bubble of disbelief and grief. I couldn't process it all at once, couldn't fit the betrayal, the lies, and the casualness of her revelation into a coherent story. It was like watching a dream collapse in slow motion, and I was helpless to stop it. Eventually, I found myself in a park, sitting on a cold bench, the air biting through my coat. I stared at the darkened trees, letting my thoughts drift over every memory, every conversation, every subtle sign I had ignored. It all came together now in a terrifying clarity. I should have seen it earlier. The way she had changed, the subtle evasions, the late-night texts I had assumed were work-related. All of it had been signals, carefully hidden in plain sight, waiting for this moment. I tried to imagine what I would say if she were here. Could I confront her? Could I demand an explanation that made sense? But the truth was already undeniable, staring back at me from her phone, from her hesitation, from the quiet way she had dismantled our life while I slept. There were no words left that could fix it. By the time I returned to the apartment, dawn was creeping through the windows. I didn't knock. I didn't pause. I entered silently, letting my presence be felt before anything was spoken. She was still there, sitting on the couch, her posture slumped, a faint sheen of tears on her cheeks. She looked up when I entered, hope and fear mingling in her expression. I need to say something," she began, voice soft, almost tentative. "I know," I said quietly, taking a seat across from her, though the distance between us felt insurmountable. I know everything, Emma. I saw it all. Your messages. The plans. Him. She flinched but didn't deny it. I didn't want you to find out like this. I never meant for it to go this far. But I wasn't listening to the words anymore. I was listening to the silence between the words, the pauses, the things she hadn't said. The betrayal wasn't just the physical act or the messages. It was the choice, the deliberate concealment, the quiet dismantling of our marriage over months, maybe years. I can't do this, I said, my voice steady now, though my chest ached. I can't stay here and pretend like anything can be repaired. You've made your choice. I can't unsee what I saw. I can't undo the months of deceit. I trusted you, Emma. I loved you. And now, I don't even know who you are anymore. Tears welled in her eyes. She reached out, trembling, but I didn't move closer. I couldn't. The betrayal had carved a space between us that no amount of reaching could bridge. Please, we can fix this. We can. No, I said firmly. We can't. Not anymore. Not after this. You've already redefined our relationship without me, without even giving me a chance to understand or forgive. There's nothing left for me here. She sobbed quietly, the sound echoing through the apartment, but it didn't reach me. I had moved beyond the hope of reconciliation. The love I had held for her, the trust, the dreams we shared, they were all gone now, replaced by the hollow ache of betrayal. I packed a small bag, methodically, each movement deliberate, each object a painful reminder of the life we had once shared. She watched silently, not protesting, not pleading, only acknowledging the inevitability of my decision. It was over, and she knew it. When I left the apartment, the key cold in my hand, I felt the weight of everything pressing down, but also a strange clarity. I had chosen myself, my dignity, and my sanity over the illusion of a marriage that no longer existed. The city outside was waking up, indifferent to my pain, and for the first time, I didn't resent it. It was a world moving forward, and I had to move forward too. I didn't look back. Not at the apartment, not at her, not at the life we had shared. There was nothing left to see. The betrayal had revealed itself fully, and the choice had been made, not by me, but by her. And in that stark realization, I felt a quiet strength settle over me, fragile but real. Later, sitting in the quiet of my friend's apartment, I let the tears come. Not the desperate, pleading tears of before, but the tears of release, of acknowledgement, of finally facing the truth. I had loved her fully, trusted her completely, and now I was letting go. There was no revenge, no confrontation, just the sober, painful acceptance of reality. I thought about all the small moments we had shared, the breakfasts, the late-night walks, the shared dreams. They weren't erased, they existed, but they existed as memories now, separate from the present, untouchable and untangled from her betrayal. I could carry them without being destroyed by them, and that felt like the first step toward healing. By the evening, I had made arrangements to move into a new place temporarily, a space of my own, a place where I could breathe and think and begin to rebuild. The future was uncertain, the grief still raw, but the choice to leave had given me a foundation, a start point for reclaiming my life. I didn't hate her. I didn't even fully understand why she had chosen this path. But I understood the consequence. I had to choose myself, my life, my peace. And sometimes, the clearest love we can have is the love we give ourselves in the aftermath of betrayal. As night fell, I looked out at the city skyline, the lights twinkling like distant stars. Somewhere in the vastness, life continued, indifferent to our personal tragedies. And yet, in that indifference, I found something precious, a chance to start over, to rebuild, to find a life where trust wasn't a fragile illusion. I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know if I would ever forgive her or myself fully, if I would ever feel whole again. But I did know this. I had faced the truth, seen it in its raw, unfiltered form, and chosen a path that honored my own heart. Sometimes I thought the hardest choices are also the ones that save us. And tonight, walking away, I finally felt the first fragile pulse of life returning to a heart that had been shattered, a heart learning to beat again.